Take your old thrift store shop jacket and make it into something really cool that you can do yourself for a fraction of what the professionals charge. So here's my graphic with the application tape on it. Of course, peel it in reverse so it's now a stencil, not a sticker. Piece of cardboard, put it inside the jacket to make it nice and stiff for painting. I place them on the shirt. I prefer red cap. Used Dickies and whatnot have stain fighting things. The paint doesn't stick really good. Brush it on there. If you're looking for a vintage look,
My
of course,
paint of choice is Kills in the red can. Original. Works great.
So there's how it looks. Dabbed on there. You can see the stencil worked pretty good. I've got some light and dark spots, which once washed should change and lighten up a little bit. The Kills really adheres well to the cloth. So I got it laid out. I try to use the seams to make sure it's fairly straight in the bottom. And then at the top, we have these seams here. Try to make sure it's fairly perpendicular. If it's a little off, you won't notice it wearing it. And then to make sure the sticker will stick, lint roller if you don't have one, put some masking tape on your hand. Try to get some of this little fuzz and dog hair, whatever, off, so the sticker will stick well. So I got where I think it's centered. I'm going by the line, not where I cut it, but the line of the bottom of the box with the seam on the bottom of the jacket. And then from armpit to the letter, armpit to the letter. So maybe it can go to the left a little bit, but when it's on your back you won't really notice. Then I just use some tape. You could use any tape that has a straight line just all around. So when I peel this off, it's going to be all wobbly, and then I can sort of locate it how I want. Good enough anyways. Maybe this will help show you how much of a pain it is to peel the vinyl when it's one sheet, but a lot of times you have to hold it down while you peel it, but once it sticks, it's pretty good. So, who needs a screen and all that crap, right? Of course, if you're doing this by yourself, you gotta do a whole bunch of these. It's no fun. I've done these for car plugs and had like a coat shirt party. I'll post some pictures of other ones I've done, and the process is exactly the same. So I got the graphic down, so you want to make sure and rub all the edges. Make sure they're adhere real well. Make sure the paint's shaken up real good. I just bought it and had him put it on the shaker at the store. I messed up the graphic over here in the corner, so I just used masking tape to make another square edge. Should be good enough. I like to set it on paper, of course, not so. And then make the paper overlap the sticker, so when the brush, if there's any drips, I won't be dripping on the cloth. So now what I do, make sure you got any loose fur hairs, whatever. I usually just do a little edge, get a lot of it off, and then just dry brush the whole thing. Poke down, I don't swipe, because you don't want any paint to go under the sticker. You can vary your technique depending on how weathered or aged look you want. If you do it too thick, of course, it's going to be hard because it's oil-based paint, like stiff. It'll eventually wash out or get softer, but for a while.
And of course, brush of choice,
so.
the 99-cent chip brush or whatever you got laying around.
You don't want too much on the brush because it can soak in the cloth and go under the stencil also. Plus, the whole purpose of doing this and not silk screening or making this vinyl or this graphic out of vinyl iron-on stuff, is so that it will have a vintage look. A graphic this big sometimes is easier to do in sections, but I wanted the spacing and dimensions to be fairly consistent and not have to guess when I was putting each section down. So hopefully this will work. I think it will. The key is to get this off before it dries too much, because then it kind of adheres and makes them more difficult. If you get a wet spot or a puddle, just flip over your brush to the dry spot and get some of it off. Like right there. You can use the vinyl to get rid of some extra. Came up a little bit. You know, and vary your technique. Turn your brush, use the flat part. But again, I just want to emphasize, don't swipe it or whatever you want to call that, because it will go under the sticker, because the sticker is only sticking to cloth, and I'm using regular vinyl, not extra sticky stuff, because why buy special stuff if you don't have to, right? That's the whole point of doing this. Again, you know, I've got some open spots, and you know, I might hit it again before I pull this off, but again, before this fully dries, we need to pull this blue off. And speaking of that, do you have to use blue? No, of course not. I use black for the front, whatever you got extra of. That doesn't cost a lot, but you want to use something with decent adhesion to stick to the cloth. If you buy or have too cheap of stuff, it's not going to stick very good. That was a little thick. Let's get some of that off there, brush some over here. See if we can pick up some of that. That is not going to look like the rest. There we go. That looks pretty good, I think. And again, your technique, it's all how you want it to look. Keep in mind, a bunch of it's going to come off when you wash it and dry it the first time. Maybe not a bunch, but some. So don't leave it too bare at spots, but you don't need to paint it solid either. Bob Ross would say, happy little hot rod. So I want these to look like found shirts from someone's closet for an old hot rod shop. Okay, let it set for a few minutes, then we're going to use, we can grab the edges, right? But the middle, we're going to have to pry this. And the key is, all this is wet, so don't make a mess on your jacket or your shirt, because you're going to make a mess of it, right? It's spread white everywhere, so give that a few minutes to flash over. Alright, I think it looks pretty good. See, I got some kills on me. If there's a spot paint got onto you don't want to, right about now, or in a few more minutes once it gets a little drier. But before it really soaks in the cloth, you can use your knife and really scrape it and get some of it off. Now if you had a spot you missed, you could use your brush or get a smaller brush and kind of dab. I might put a little bit more. I might just leave it. It's kind of light right there, but it might just add to it, right? So I think this is looking pretty good. You guys probably didn't think it looked this good when I was brushing it on there. So now I'm going to let it dry overnight. In a dry area, don't go putting this in your garage or wherever it might have a bunch of humidity. Somewhere dry overnight. I don't know how many hours to tell you. I do overnight. I mean overnight like 9 p.m. till 9 a.m. or longer. Then tomorrow I'm going to wash it by itself, or I'm actually making another jacket so I can wash them both together. But don't wash this with your regular clothes because this is oil-based paint, and you know who knows what it's going to do to your other clothes. And then usually when I'm done, I'll run the washer one more time with nothing in it, with just a little bit of soap to help in case there's some particles or something in there. But usually you do it once, it's good to go. In they go. I stopped the cycle halfway through so you could see that is some of the paint coming off. And it's just floating around in there. Wash it. You might have to rinse it twice and then put it in the dryer and it should take care of it. There you go. Fresh out of the dryer. A little bit softer. Not so crispy. You can see a little more, what's a good word, patina. And the white fuzz left over of the paint is pretty much gone from the dryer. Of course, it's going to be in the trap. So clean it out real good.
Here's some of my other jackets.
So if you want to make your own jacket,
from 20
here's a
years
cool,
old to
unique
5
way to
years
do it.
old. So if you want to make something, I hope this helps. Have any questions, feel free to post, and links are in description for stuff I've used.